Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you for subscribing, for those of you that have subscribed, and sharing and liking on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. So looking forward to this year now. We've got over New Year and we've all got back to work and school and college, etc, etc. I'm going to talk about the best shows that are coming into the West End in 2019. Now, just before you all start groaning, I know that I have had some overseas followers, people in the US, namely in New York. I am going to cover New York shows in a separate blog. Today I'm just talking about some of the things we can look forward to coming up in 2019 in London. Kicking off straight away as something that opens quite soon is a show that's been around the country quite a few times already. It's also been available in the amateur circuit as well, so many of you may have seen it or even been in it. I know there's a lot of amateur people, people that are in amateur shows that follow this blog. The show is 9 to 5, written by the one and only Dolly Parton and based on the 1980 film of the same name. Now, we all know the song, I'm not going to sing it, but 9 to 5 is about three secretaries trying to make their way in corporate America in the 80s. In the way is their very scary, harassing, uncomfortable, nasty boss. In this case, played very, very comically, I expect, by Brian Connolly. Now, the show's great. It follows exactly the same path as the film, apart from the introduction of probably about 16 really, really beautiful, fabulously hearted, big, fun songs written by Dolly Parton. Now, as we know, the woman's been writing fantastic songs for years, but has never written much for the theatre before. All of these songs, apart from obviously 9 to 5, have been originally written for the show. You may have heard them since because she's recorded quite a few of them. However, it is an absolute riot. The show's fantastic. I don't know about the show in London yet, obviously it's not open yet, but I know for a fact I've actually seen Bonnie Langford, who plays the secretary Roz, who's on the bad side, in the role before, and she literally stopped the show. So looking forward to seeing her out of 42nd Street into 9 to 5 straight away. So that's 9 to 5. That opens in the Savoy Theatre very, very shortly in January, February this year. Previews soon. Now, what I will do, I know this is a lot of information, so I am going to put down here in the comments and links and description boxes some links so that you can get tickets for these shows as well. If you always come off this vlog thinking, do you know what, I like the sound of that, so have a link, have a look at the link. And also, please leave some comments and let me know if you do book up something, and of course, what you thought. Second show I'm going to talk about is a new show to these shores. I've actually been very lucky to see it in New York a couple of years ago, and it's a new show called Come From Away. It's opening in February at the Phoenix Theatre. Actually, there's previews from late January, so if you're sneaking quick, you might be able to see one of those. It's actually trying out at the moment in Dublin at the Abbey Theatre, so if this is available sooner than that, you might be able to sneak in to see that there. Now, what's it about? And actually, faintly in the background, you might be able to hear the recording that I'm currently playing. I was thinking about the show today, and it's a very, very incredibly written new musical. Very unusual for us to have a show that's not based on a book, not based on a film, not based on something else. What it is the story of, it's the story of what happened on 9/11 when US airspace, in particular in this case, was shut and all the planes were diverted to a place called Gander in Newfoundland. And what the locals did there was an absolute wonder and a test and a display of humanity. And what they've done is put it onto stage in a show called Come From Away. The show is about an hour and 40 minutes. It plays straight through. There's a cast of about 14, if I remember, and the 14 of them play about 50, 60 characters between them. So it's absolutely extraordinary to watch. The music, if you can hear faintly in the background, I would describe as folk, rock, pop, and a couple of musical theatre sort of big belter numbers as well. So it is an absolute tremendous show. It is a complete revelation. There's never been anything I've seen like it, and usually we're expecting shows that we can say, oh, it's a bit like this, it's a bit like this. This is unlike anything I've seen before. It's heartbreaking, it's funny, and it's a real test of and display of what humans are capable of when they extend a bit of kindness. So that show is called Come From Away. It's a transfer from Broadway. It's been playing in Ireland, Dublin, just over the holiday season, and is opening in the Phoenix Theatre in the West End quite soon. Now, following that, another show coming up just after that, in about February time, is another transfer from Broadway, which I have also seen on Broadway, which is all finally making it to these shores, and it's a show called Waitress. Now, Waitress is based on the film of the same name, which follows the life of a diner in Southern America, and the trials and tribulations of the girls that work there. It's a fabulous story. It's very, very funny. It's very bittersweet. It's also a little bit sad. And again, this is another show that has been written by a pop star. So pop star and rock singer Sarah Bareilles, who recently was seen in the TV version of Jesus Christ Superstar. Best known in the UK for songs like Love Song, Brave. She has written the score. She's written the most phenomenal score. About 16, 20 absolutely wonderful songs, freshly written for the theatre. Every one of them a hit. Guys, there's a little bit of a guy basher. There's not really many likeable guy characters in it. A couple of them, but mainly it's a girl power show. Absolutely fun, absolutely frothy. And we're over here. We're very, very lucky because we're going to get a fantastic cast. Now, Sarah Bareilles actually herself did do a run of it on Broadway a couple of times. She's going back in it quite soon. And I was secretly fingers crossed that she was going to come over and do it in the West End. However, we've actually picked up trumps, really. We've got Catherine McPhee. So Catherine McPhee was a runner-up on American Idol, but most of you might know her for playing one of the lead parts in Smash, which was a TV show which was about Broadway. So Catherine McPhee's coming in. We've also got Marisha Wallace in the show. Can't say that, can I? She's been playing Effie in Dreamgirls recently. Laura Baldwin is in it, who's been in Eugenius, and also David Hunter, who some of you will know from Once, Kinky Boots, and also being in the runners-up for Superstar. So that's Waitress. That's Waitress coming to the West End in February at the Adelphi Theatre. So what is the West End without a little bit of Andrew Lloyd Webber? Andrew Lloyd Webber is already having a few shows in London at the moment. He's got School of Rock still running. He's also got Phantom of the Opera, which I don't think was ever going to go away. But this summer might be a bit of a record breaker because he and Tim Rice will be having, for the first time I believe, 3 of their shows revived in the West End throughout the summer. Now, the first one of that is a revival of a revival. It is the absolutely phenomenal production of Jesus Christ Superstar, which was presented at the Open Air Theatre for 2 seasons where it was so successful. It's won all sorts of awards. Casting has yet to be announced. I'm really hoping it's going to be Declan Bennett and Tyrone Huntley who did it before. However, the show's so good, it's gonna stand the test no matter who's in it. The difference about this one, it's actually going to be performed at the Barbican. So whether it's going to transfer from the open air setting into the indoor setting is yet to be seen. But that's Jesus Christ Superstar at the Barbican Theatre during the summer. Now, I've just mentioned the open air theatre. Very, very exciting news. Another Andrew Webber and Tim Rice classic, Evita, is going to be on at the open air theatre in the summer. Now, there's a couple of things that really excite me about this production already. Firstly, if anyone's been to the open air theatre in Regent's Park in the summer, it's the most fabulous night out. You can take a picnic. It is completely open, so you are open to the elements, which kind of means if you end up going to the show a few times, which I do, you do get a slightly different feeling no matter what the weather's doing. The show Evita is being directed by Jamie Lloyd. Now, anyone who knows anything about theatre, Jamie Lloyd has done some fantastic work in the past. Lots of the Pinter plays recently, and namely a fantastic production of Stephen Sondheim's Assassins at the Menai Chocolate Factory. So I'm very, very excited to see what Jamie Lloyd comes up with for this wonderful production. And I think looking forward to seeing Evita singing Don't Cry for Me Argentina against those waving trees in the moonlight is going to be something pretty special. So that's Evita playing at the Open Air Theatre in London in the summer. And the third of the 3 shows that I mentioned is another old classic, celebrating a 50-year anniversary, is the return of what we promised is to be a reimagined, reinvented production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Now, the show looks on the same, from a logo point of view, I was like, oh, it's the same logo, it's going to be the same show. Apparently not. It's going to be in the Palladium for a limited season during the summer. Tickets are on sale at the moment. Now, tickets are what I would describe as reassuringly expensive. So without having any star names or any casting shared yet, I'm crossing fingers for some big star names going into that show. Now, I don't know yet, they've not announced it. However, I do think having Joseph back in the West End, back at his home, the Palladium, will actually stir the soul a bit. It was one of the first shows I saw growing up, and it was my first visit to the Palladium, and I don't think I'll ever forget that. It set me off on the path that I'm on now. So those 3 shows are on playing over the summer in the West End. Again, links below. So finally, what's going on in what I would describe as the Fringe? So we've got a few things coming up. We've got a show called Little Miss Sunshine. Now, Little Miss Sunshine is based on a movie. It's kind of a road trip movie. I've not seen the show yet, but it's about a young girl who sets her sights on becoming Little Miss Sunshine, which is a local beauty pageant, and her dysfunctional family take to the road and go to the pageant. Now, this is going to be at the Arcola in Off West End. It's a fantastic little Off West End theatre if you've not been before. Really good ticket prices. So I think, I already bought mine, and I think, we got in sort of like really close for like £21. So it's an absolute bargain. The other thing I think we need to talk about is Violet. So Violet is a show that I've known for many years. It's never been done in the UK, so actually we're going to be getting the European premiere at the Charing Cross Theatre very, very soon. So that opens in sort of January, February time. A wonderful show about a girl who befriends a disfigured guy, and in the same way awakens her own soul and her own journey. I'm not going to tell you more than that. Fantastic music, lots of gospel, lots of country, lots of soul, as well as some mixed in with some great musical theatre. So I guess that is finally one more show to go, which is a show that I know many people have been waiting for in the UK for a few years. And again, I've been very lucky. I've seen this show on Broadway, and to say it's extraordinary and groundbreaking and moving people every night is an understatement. The show that I'm talking about is, of course, a show called Dear Evan Hansen. It's won a lot of awards. It's pretty much won every award going. It won the Tony for Best Musical. It won a handful of awards for its performances, mainly Ben Platt and Rachel Bay-Jones. Now, very excitingly, I've seen casting calls for this, and the main 4 leads, they are looking for local, new, unknown talent. So if you are interested, maybe you should Google Dear Evan Hansen casting and see whether you can get yourself in the show. The show has got a fantastic score by Pasek and Paul. So 2 very up-and-coming songwriters. Say up-and-coming, they've just written probably the biggest selling album of last year. They wrote all the songs for The Greatest Showman. The show is a surprise. I went in knowing the recording but not knowing the story at all. And the story is that good, they've recently brought it out into a novel. A boy, teenager, anxiety issues, gets himself mixed up in a situation at school, ends up becoming bigger than he is, and the price to pay is also deceiving and telling a lot of people lies. It's a wild journey. It's also, people don't talk about this when they talk about the show, it's also very, very funny. It's very fast paced, it's very relevant, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. Some of the best music you'll probably see in the West End this year. So that is coming to the Noel Coward Theatre. Preview start in November, so a long time yet. Booking yet to open. So if you're looking for the link down here, not downstairs, if you're looking for the link to book tickets, that's not going to be available just yet, but I'm sure we'll all hear about it when those tickets go on sale. They're expecting them to go as quickly as the Hamilton ones were. So that's me wrapping up for today. Thank you so much for looking again and listening and sharing. Before I bring the curtain down today, I'd like you to do a few things for me. If you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, that is wonderful. If you can also like my Instagram page, Amateur Adam. If you can like my Twitter page, @AdamAmateur, and Facebook, Amateur Adam as well. So please like those things, and I will look forward to seeing you all on the aisles. Cheers, bye-bye.